Hey there, good people. Welcome back. Josh again with the Joshua Lappin Fitness, and this is going to be part 2 of our review of the Stuart McRobert's Brawn series book. This is the newer edition, the updated, revised edition. And feel free to go back and look at part 1 in the video. We're doing 2 parts of the review of the book because the other video started going long, and I wanted to make sure I covered everything that was important about the book. All right, just so we're getting back into the review here. Talked about a little in the first video, but recovery is one of the central focuses of this book. One of the key principles is that most people, specifically hard gainers, cannot recover as quickly as other genetically gifted bodybuilders, strength traders, lifters, so we need to take that into consideration. To do that, we have to modify our routines. So Mr. McRobert suggests a couple of different things. One is traditional kind of standard hard gainer advice is only training 3 days per week, but he also goes as far as saying that you should only train 2 days a week for a lot of people, which we'll cover on that a little bit more here, but I just want to go ahead and throw it out. Some other things that he goes over is he's big on breathing techniques, which I agree with. Correct breathing helps you to get through really hard, heavy sets. And then he goes into some basic nutritional advice, some calorie calculations, which I think are really interesting and helpful. Basically, his suggestion is you need to establish a baseline for your caloric calculations. So to do that, you need to take what your body weight is currently and multiply that times a multiple of either 13, 15, or 17. 13 if you're really inactive and the only thing you really do is work out. 15 if you're moderately active, and 17 if you're very active. And that'll get you a caloric baseline of what calories you should be eating each day. So my ideal body weight is about 180 pounds, and I kind of moderately active, so I times 15, it's about 2,700 calories, to give you an example. So once you establish that baseline, you want to start measuring your weight and your fat through a couple of different techniques. We'll get into that perhaps in another video. But once you've got that established, and also too that you want to keep your ideal training body weight fat percentage somewhere between 12 to 15% for a man. So it's relatively lean, but not too lean. So if you're finding that you're going over that percentage, that means you need to cut down your calories a little bit. But what he recommends is trying to max out your calories. So try to, once you've established the baseline of where you should be, start adding 200 calories a week and keep doing that as long as you're not gaining excess fat. So you want to find out your max caloric intake that you can currently consume before you start gaining fat. And you want to start eating that, which is going to give you more energy, and it's going to aid in the muscular development too, because muscles have to have the energy to grow. He's got some sleep tips, some stretching recommendations, and then a large portion of the book actually goes into exercise descriptions and correct techniques. I mentioned it before in the first video, but it's worth mentioning again. There's a lot of emphasis on lower back protection, so that's why he suggests using things like the parallel grip deadlift instead of the traditional deadlift, and using the bench a lot for support. So I think it's a great tip, especially for those of us like myself who are getting a little bit older. It's definitely helpful to and very good to protect that lower back. So now I want to actually get into what one of his sample routines would kind of look like. He gives you a couple different options. He gives you some high and low rep variations. So, and he also gives you kind of what he calls an expanded routine, a standard routine, and a bridged routine. So the expanded routine generally contains more exercises, and again, in this training philosophy, you're going to do full body workouts 3 times a week, perhaps 2. So if you're doing an expanded routine, you're basically going to work every major or all the muscle groups in some way or fashion with some exercise. He goes to say that some of that may be too much for people, especially hard gainers. So he offers 2 other routine variations, which are their standard routine and their bridge routine. So just for example, a standard routine low rep variation would include 1 squat set for 20 reps, 1 set of pullovers for 20 reps, 3 sets of chin-ups, 6 to 8 reps, 3 sets of dips, 6 to 8 reps, 2 sets of partial deadlift, 6 to 8 reps, calf raises, 3 sets of 10 to 12, crunches, 2 sets of 10 to 12, and a thick bar hold for 60 seconds. So that's kind of a middle ground routine called the standard routine, low rep variation. And then their bridge routine, here's one in a low rep format. These tend to be shorter workouts where you're only training the major muscle groups. And this is the ones that I found work best for me because I consider myself a true hard gainer. So the other routines were just too much and they were going to overwhelm my recovery system. So the bridge routine, low rep format, consists of a barbell squat, 1 set for 20 reps, pull over, 1 set of 20 reps, dips, 3 sets, 6 to 8 reps, and chin-ups, 3 sets, 6 to 8 reps. Okay, and then the high rep format suggestion is the parallel grip deadlift, 1 set for 20 reps, another set of pullovers, 1 set of 20 reps, bench press, 3 sets, 10 to 12 reps, and the rows. I chose dumbbell rows for the back support aspect. 3 sets, 10 to 12 reps. So those are 2 routines. What I would do with those is I would alternate, turn them into an A and B routine because there's some variation between the 2. And honestly, that was plenty for me. By the time you got that 20 rep squat or deadlift done, and if you're using progressive resistance, meaning you're trying to continue to add weight throughout workouts, that was more than enough for me. Then he goes into some more suggestions as far as training frequency for maximizing recovery. He gives you 3 different options. You can do 2 full body workouts every week. So that gives you 3 days off on one and 2 days off on another. Again, these workouts, when you do them, they're not going to be easy. They're going to be very hard, especially when you're trying to lift as much weight as you can with the squats and the deadlifts for 20 reps and continue to try to add weight every week. And add weight to all exercises. So it's pretty intense. So that recovery time is really essential. He also suggests doing 2 full body workouts every 2 weeks. So that means adding even more rest time in between the workouts. Another suggestion is actually divide workouts, 2 divided workouts every week. That's almost like a split. So you would do like upper body and then lower body exercises. Again, just another way to maximize recovery. And then he actually gets into what he calls super abbreviated, which means you're basically going to do just 2 exercises per workout, which could be probably something like deadlift and bench or squat and bench or something like that. Or if you even need to take it down to another level, you can do one exercise per workout, which would be like pretty much doing it squats or deadlifts only. So again, this book is really geared towards, I feel like, hard gainers and helping hard gainers find some really good routines and good ways to really start getting results. Even though a lot of other routines don't do that. So I did try a round of this routine during my fall workout routine, which I just finished up, and I found it to be pretty effective. I feel like I gained strength. I feel like I actually did gain some size in my chest, back area, and in my legs. I gained about a ½ inch on the chest and about an inch in the legs. So it's definitely capable of doing what it says it does. I haven't gotten to 50 pounds of muscle yet, but he says it can take a couple years of work to get to that, which is probably true. So I think I'll definitely try this routine again at some point. Right now I'm doing my skinny to strong routine, which is about 50% strength training and 50% development. So you can check that out in another video. There's plenty of videos on that. But overall, I think the Brawn series has some really good recommendations and some really good ideas for hard gainers. Again, we need to maximize recovery, so there's a lot of good tips in here on how to do that. So I think this is worth checking out. I think there's a lot of good fundamental principles that you can learn from, and I really think as a hard gainer it will help you to perhaps start seeing some results that you haven't up to this point. It's a great beginner's book too, because it does go through quite extensive section of how to do the exercises and how to do them correctly. So if you're a beginner, it's a great way to get started. So again, I highly recommend the book, Stuart McRobert's new Brawn series. He's got other books. If I check them out, I'll let you know how they go or what I think about them as well. So again, this is Josh from Joshua Lappin Fitness. I hope this review series has been helpful for you, and I hope it gives you some ideas and some resources to help you along your fitness journey. We'll be back with another video very soon, and look forward to interacting with you on our social pages and our website.